Hey everybody, welcome back. Basement Tapes 310. I'm just kind of chilling in my chair here, leaned all the way back. Apologize for my relaxed posture, but this one's going to take a minute. This is a complicated set, 77 to 79, spanning at least 3 years. It is the Sportscaster Series. Sportscasters, you say, or Sportcaster, you say. People my age will remember this vividly. It was an offer that I don't know whether it was TV commercials, newspapers, magazines. It was a reference type setup. And we're going to try to learn a little bit about this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says, in my hand, it says 7. In my collection, it says 6. I'm not quite sure who I'm missing. It's probably the Johnny Bench. Yeah, Johnny Bench. So let's learn a little bit about this set. It's going to be a difficult journey here because this thing's all over the place. And I know some of you are already wriggling in your seats, but this is a bunch of series of cards, 24, for instance, in Series 1 that were released over time through a subscription. I think it was $1.29. You can get a pack of 24 for, or something like that. So we're going to try to find some information. It's not cut and dry because there's so many different series, and there is, there's just a lot of information that's spread out, and none of it is complete. So again, I've got 7 of them, and I'll go over some of the uniqueness here if time allows, or if we don't fill in the blanks with some of this other stuff. Here is, for example, TCDB's. Where did I end up here? I ended up somewhere. Let me stop screen. Okay, bam. Present. Share screen. Window. Bam. Okay. Apologies to all. Technology is difficult, but here's an example of the series. There's 283 results here in TCDB about Sportscaster Series. So it goes up into the 80s. It goes into the 90s. It goes, let me see where it ends here. So if you think I'm an idiot, you're probably right. I just didn't do a lot of research. It says there's 99 of these things in English, and then there's Finnish, there's UK, there's Italian. Now, most of these things were made in Italy, I think. Some made in Japan, but even though they say made in Italy, doesn't mean, or printed in Italy, doesn't mean it's the Italian version. So lots to digest here, and I think we should probably get back to page 1, and we'll take an example of the series 1 and see what we have here. See, we have some track and field represented. Of course, this is an international situation here, so sports from all over are represented here. Motocross is represented here. Motocross was a big deal at one point. There's a lot of motocross. There's ice hockey. It says Bobby Orr. These are not licensed or sanctioned, I do believe. But it does have a lot of different sports on it. Muhammad Ali, etc. Right? There's Jesse Owens. So wonderful. Again, these were meant to be a reference situation and not trading cards as we know them these days. So this was see, I go to hit the Sportscaster card site, and it comes back with no information. But multi-sport stuff here, 77, 79. I'm on PSA right now. So it'll say the massive set consists of more than 2,000 different pieces of cards that measure 4 3/4 by 6 1/4 inches. The cards were distributed over a 2-year period internationally via mail subscription. Subscribers received 24 cards roughly every month for a price of $1.89. These cards not only feature multiple sports, but also represent those sports with cards featuring individual athletes, teams, locations, and other themes. So I have a couple of Yastrzemski cards that don't mention Yastrzemski on the front. For instance, hidden ball trick. Let me see if I can make myself bigger. How's that sound? It's what everybody wants, right? So there's the hidden ball trick with Yastrzemski, and I'd love to think that that's Herb Washington. This is 1975, by the way. The Red Sox wore those patches in 1975. Not quite sure who that is sliding into to first. But if it's Herb Washington, he would have been cut by May, and I don't think the Red Sox had played the A's by May in 1975. So yeah, don't tell me it's 1976. It's 1975, folks. And here's Yaz doing the old Triple Crown thing. Not mentioned on the front. You can see he's depicted as a cricket batsman in the category there. So there's all sorts of shenanigans you got to figure out here. There's a sand hourglass. There's a sundial. There's not a men and a women's room logo, but two men's rooms and Triple Crown and all that stuff. Here's the backs, all sorts of fun little Italian and stuff in there. So his name is mentioned in there, Yastrzemski, 1967, but it has Cobb, Heine Zimmerman, two Hornsbys, a Fox and a Klein, Garrick Medwick, two Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Frank Robinson, and Carl Yastrzemski, of course. Then I have these bad boys, which is Greg Luzinski. Clearly says baseball. Greg Luzinski, again, depicted as a cricket batsman. And nice little bull on the diamond back there. Here's one with Michael Jack Schmidt, but it goes over the 4 home runs in a game deal and doesn't mention him specifically. It mentions him as one of the players that had done it. In the theme of all things Olympic, here is Nadia Comaneci. She was a big deal in the 70s, folks. Probably fell in love with her a few times when I was 8 or 9 years old, but still big deal in the 70s. She was residing behind the Iron Curtain, kind of a mythical figure. She was in the 76 and the 80 Olympics. And the 80 Olympics were in Russia or Soviet Union, and nobody went that I know. Football card here, Jets versus Colts, just has a description of says here the Super Bowl, Jets versus Colts, Super Bowl upset. So that's depicted. And here's Johnny Bench looking up there to the skies for a sign. Oh, Lord, let me know you're watching over me today as I take on these opponents on the baseball diamond. Not sure who that is or where that is. That might be Wrigley Field. Might not be. So anyway, let's get back to the show here. Apologies to all. Let's see here. I got out of the wrong view as well, and a full screen. So you can see here on the first series, it has Roger DeCoster, Bobby Orr, and there's an Italy and a Japan version. There's Ali, Jesse Owens, Guy Drut. He's Faina Melnick. Mark Spitz is represented. Michelle Rousseau. Fanny Blankers. That's my porn name. Fanny Blankers Cohen. Added that on when I got my ancestry DNA results back. Bernard Thevenet, Michel Brolet. Progress for better or worse. Italy, I don't know what's going on there. Stream fishing is depicted in card 13. Frank Shorter, he's a runner. Johnny Unitas, he's got a flat top. Anton Giesink, Babe Ruth is depicted in here. Pele, both the Japan and the Italian versions. Jimmy Connors, all that stuff. So it goes on and on and on and on. There's a running past website that says Sportscaster cards were produced in the late 70s. Many sports were represented in this extensive card set, but 307 were of running related subjects. For more information, see memorabilia under vintage cards. Below is a complete checklist of the cards we offer for sale and their prices. These are not new reproductions, but actual vintage cards printed 20 years ago. Sportscasters have excellent photography on the front and detailed historical data on the back. All cards offered are in excellent condition, yada, yada, yada. So, again, all those people, Fanny Blankers Cohen, along with Jesse Owens. Let me see who else I recognize there. Dwight Stones, he would jump up in the air and over things. Bruce Jenner, Dick Fosbury of the Fosbury Flop, the 10.0 Club. I assume that's the 100 meter. Who else do I recognize? There's a triple jump card at Boston Marathon, Rayford Johnson. There's Roger Bannister in the mile. Bob Beeman, he was another jumper, I think. So all that stuff, and that's just these darn athletes. They call that athletics over there, track and field. So think about all the other sports in there. There's old Johnny Bench. That's the one I have. Net 54 says about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer, time is escaping me. I went to our local world's biggest garage sale event where there were probably 200 plus vendors set up selling their junk. Unbelievably, I had been there for almost an hour, and this was still on a guy's table for 10 whole freaking dollars. So this is 2022, this post. I noticed it was all sports and didn't even flip through them. I immediately paid and took them to my car. Re-entered the show and took to look for more goodies. And after a few hours, I went home and finally cracked into this collection. All 3 biggies were there. I sent the Gretzky and the Bird off to PSA and was pleased, but I really thought they deserved 9s. The Magic I did not send because of a printing flaw on the right edge. One of my better finds. So you see Bird in there as an Indiana State Sycamore. You see Wayne Gretzky in there as an Edmonton Oiler from whatever league that is, the Yukon League. And right here, you could see Wilt Chamberlain. You could see the Henley Regatta. You could see Seaver and Aaron. And I think that's Steve Prefontaine right there. So there's 2 Steve Prefontaines, oddly enough. One of them actually says that the Black Power in the Olympics in '68 in Mexico City. There's horse racing with Secretariat. Walter Payton. You people think you're done your Walter Payton collections. You are not done your Walter Payton collection. So fun stuff from Net 54. There's the big 3. Magic, Bird, and Wayne Gretzky. Magic's playing Western Michigan, maybe in somewhere in the college basketball world. But yeah, you can see these 8s. So this guy got these things about 30 plus years after. What would that have been? 2015. He got these things about 35 years plus after they came out, and they still graded 8s for him. So good for him. I love the Bird and Magic, but regret not getting or I have the Bird and Magic, but regret not getting a Gretzky when they were more affordable. So these things are pretty. Look at this guy. He's got Orioles 7. He's got them all janged up in his binders. Man, that's so cool and so neat to see. So fun set. There's the binders inside. There's Bird. There's the Soviet hockey team. Or am I wrong? Yeah, the Soviet whatever the heck they call that. There's ping pongers, table tennis. They call that now. Auto racing. So fun stuff there. There's the old Gretzky again. Mountain climbing. Samson Kimolabwe. I don't know where he's running to or from. There is another Edmonton Oiler. I don't believe that's Messier, but expansion, all that stuff. There's if you want a Monty Stratton card, there's one of those in there. And it's funny how they view these people as cricketers on the worldwide stage. You can see the cricket pads and the cricket bat and all that stuff. Football is even more funny, if you ask me. Let me see if we can find some. There's medals that came with these things, all that stuff. So there's some people that are really into this, and it's neat to see these things out there. Sportscaster cards, more than 30 years ago, from 1977 to 1979, a collection of what has become to be known as Sportscaster cards was offered by mail-in order subscription in the United States, Europe, and Japan. The cards were shipped in sets of 24 on a periodic basis and covered traditional popular sports such as golf, baseball, football, soccer, boxing, along with unusual and rarer sports and activities like badminton, bullfighting, and deep-sea diving. The full set was huge, more than 2,000 cards. My own collection made it to several hundred, although a few were lost in an ill-advised attempt to frame some while I was in college. Individual and small groups of Sportscaster cards can be found on eBay, but an amazingly detailed website dedicated to preserving the set contains scanned images of the front and the back of every card. They're categorized in a way that makes it easy to take a quick trip back to the sports world of the late 1970s. The front of the Jack Nicklaus card is shown below. So let's click that link, and we'll find that it is no longer active, unfortunately. Let's see here. Here's eBay, and you can see some solds here. There was a Wayne Gretzky out there. 9.5 was listed for $9,795. They took a best offer. There's an 8 that sold for $1,425, so that's on par. Well, not an 8, but it's these cards. You could spend 4 figures on these cards. Another one for about $850. Another one for $800. Magic Johnson, a PSA 6, sold for $524.99. Pele's in there, and it's got a signature, which is pretty cool. Larry Bird, $218. These are all graded. Well, that one wasn't graded. This one's graded by Beckett. Or actually, Bill Walton right there, $157. A Babe Ruth there, and a 5 or a 6 or something, $115. So here's a nice one. Let's see here. Let's see if we can find this here. What happened to my view here? I think. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to see the back of this. Here's the Oakland A's 71 to 75. So depicting that dynasty. Good times, folks. Really neat set and interesting little tidbit in the hobby history. These are kind of accepted now as hobby collectibles, I think, by most. They may have been shunned at one point, but now they are, for certain, they are sought after by hobbyists. Kind of on the down low. There's old Joe Green and stuff like that. So There's 1,000 of them for $78 it went for. That was a brilliant steal there. I'm sure they picked out a lot of the good ones, but look at this cat right here, man. Look at this cat. Dr. J in his Nets uniform back in the day. So anyway, that's the sportscaster stuff. Man, you're darn right I want more of these. And just difficult to catalog them because Beckett counts every series as a series instead of one master series. So it's hard for me to kind of gather the information in one place. I do have some spares of these. I think I have a spare Johnny Bench and a spare Nadia Comaneci. So I will try to sell those online quickly while people are still suffering from Olympic fever. I lied to everybody when I said Johnny Bench. I have two of the football ones here, the Super Bowl stuff. So, and you could see the football, you could see that how they depict the football. It looks more like a rugby situation there. So that's what they're considering our football players in the rugby family, maybe. So anyway, 77 through 79 Sportscaster cards, sports of all kinds. There's something in there for everyone to enjoy. Basement Tapes, number 310. Thanks, everybody.